maybe we start with the stigma around health and well-being, which is something that, I've spoken to many people about it, and we have brought you into our company and addressed our staff and given an incredible presentation. Highly recommend it to get people thinking about
Thank you.
ourselves, of course. The absolute stigma route one is I must eat rabbit food.
Yes.
I must go to the gym every day, and I'm overwhelmed by the health and wellness aisle in a Holland and Barrett. I think that's the general stigma is I have to just eat loads of salads, work out, and have some vitamins. And actually, after listening to your presentation and talking everything about our whole bodies and what affects our bodies, there is this whole plethora of things to think about. And actually, it's not just about weight loss. I think that's a big thing that I take from when I speak to you is we talk about stress levels and sleep and illnesses and, how we feel in ourselves, how we wake up in the morning, things that control our lives. We look at caffeine and alcohol and fiber, protein, all these things. There's a lot to consider, but it's not hard to implement.
No. And I think you're absolutely right. It's about how you feel. And we can go through our day completely ignoring how we feel. And then our choices that we make may not be good choices. They may not be beneficial to us. But by taking control of your health, I think, and I believe, and I've seen it with clients and myself, that you do start to feel better. So you just make better choices. And the more informed you are about things, about your own body, how you feel. For example, caffeine. It's a stimulant. Why do we have so much caffeine? It's a thing, isn't it, in this industry? We live on coffee. We're fueled by it. Or even tea. Tea does contain caffeine as well. Or it might be energy drinks like Red Bull, Monster. There are other brands available. But that's the thing. We feel that we need it to get us through the day.
And it's a comfort.
It is a comfort, yeah, because it's like, right, okay, that's going to keep me awake. That's going to keep me going. But, I'm also a nutrigenomics practitioner, which is all about genetic testing. Once you know how you metabolize coffee, so I have done these tests and I do them with some of my clients, you then have that knowledge to know that you either might be quite sensitive to caffeine. So maybe just 1 a day is better than 3 a day. But if you metabolize it slowly, it means it stays in your system for a long, long time. It can be 7, 8, 9 hours. So if you're drinking coffee at like 4 in the day, in the afternoon, that's going to be really still in your system at night. So if you're not sleeping well, maybe it's to do with that. And then that with the added stress, with maybe some alcohol thrown in, some really high processed foods because availability is pretty tough on site. Or even if you're not prepared at home, you just grab whatever you can. So it is about what you're loading into, like a bucket, I suppose. It's the load. And that's what you need to unpick and really start to make the changes on, I think.
Yeah, and I think you sort of hit the nail on the head of the routine of actually, a lot of people say to us, oh, when I go on site, my routine is all out of whack. And actually, I think there's more of a routine on site sometimes. Not that that's a good thing, but actually we know what we're heading into.
Yeah.
I work on many events every year, and the on-site journey is pretty similar. We know where the stress points are. We know when we're going to get a little less sleep. We know where we're going to get a bit more sleep. We know when we're going to be running around. We know where the food, we know when we're going to get food and what snacks. And I think full clarity that what I really enjoy about our conversations is we're not telling people how to live. We're not saying to you that you must do this to stay healthy. It's about understanding what you put in your mouth is affecting your whole body. And actually, exactly as you just said with caffeine, you're not telling people to stop having caffeine. You're helping people understand what caffeine is doing to their body, and they make that choice.
Absolutely, yeah.
And caffeine is, I have never had caffeine. It's not something, sorry, disclaimer, I've not had caffeine for about 10 years. I used to have a lot of Diet Coke and Cokes and things like that, and the fizzy drinks. I didn't understand what caffeine was. I drank Diet Coke because I liked the taste. I didn't think what it was. It sounded healthier than normal Coke. And then, funny enough, actually, it was one of my friends was giving up chocolate, and I said, "Well, I'd give that a go. I don't really eat much chocolate. I'm going to give up Diet Coke." And the headaches were awful. The getting that first 2-3 weeks, and I didn't understand what it was doing to my body. And after that, I said, no, I'm not going back to that, because I was learning about what that was doing to my insides. It was affecting my day to day. I would take it to bed. I would go to bed with a pint of Coke. I didn't realize it was what it was doing to me, really, in my sleep. I didn't think about my sleep pattern.
No. And that's, to be honest, that is pretty common. I don't think we do. But this is the whole point, isn't it? Awareness of this and what we're actually doing regularly. It's the same thing. If you're doing something else consistently that's bad for you, what is the longer term impact of that? And we have to start looking at longevity of health and where we'll be in, we can't escape that in 20, 30, 40 years, our bodies will change. And what we do right now, so I'm in mid-40s, you're younger than me, but even so, even in your 20s, what you're doing is going to have an impact on your body. If I knew what I know now, and I was in my 20s, like mid-20s, I definitely would have had a slightly easier ride with certain things. So for me, I've had years of dieting, of Weight Watchers, Slimming World, all the other dieting, anything, you name it, I've tried it. And it just restricts you. And my whole personality does not like being restricted. I don't think anybody likes to have restrictions. So when you can't have something, you want it even more. And I think the 80-20 rule is about abundance, actually, of the right things. So we will get into talking a bit more about another buzzword, which is eat the rainbow. But it's a really good thing to remember with every meal. So it's all about variety, diversity of colours and vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, all of that. But basically, I think the 80-20 rule really just applies to everyone to be able to just enjoy food.
Yeah.
So 80% of the time, if you're doing everything right, that is good for you. And at every meal, you're making sure that you have filled that plate with lots of different things that are going to nourish the gut, it's going to be balanced. So healthy fats, protein, fibre, and if you're going to have carbohydrates, because they're not the enemy, complex carbs, which we can go into a bit later. But that's the thing, the 20% is about joy. It's about, you will get joy from healthy food as well, but it's about doing something that you really want to do without restricting yourself. So if you want to go and have a night where you go out with your friends, you have a glass of wine, you have some pizza, just do it. Because it's not just about what you put into your body, it is also about how you feel and how your nervous system is being nourished. And a lot of the time, if we are restricting ourselves, we're working hard, we're stressed, we just need moments of, this is great. This is just, I'm not thinking about anything.
Yeah.
It's actually almost like a form of mindfulness where you're with your friends, you're enjoying yourself. Maybe the wine is relaxing you. Great. So I'm a real advocate of that. And I think sometimes there isn't that much joy in the job because we're really working hard and we ache because we're sat in the same place in the build up to events. We're sat at our desk, we're hunched over. So just moving and actually being out with people that you love and having a good time is really important. So that is also under that health umbrella.
Yeah, exactly. And actually with the 80-20, exactly you just said with the, I have a mindset coach who helps me compose my mindset, and makes me think about routine is very important. And actually one thing that he said to me that was really important about the health side of it is, if your friends are all going out and you're on a bit of a health kick and all your friends are deciding to go and have a KFC, Burger King, anything like this, go with them and do it. Because you have to understand that if the opposite is you sitting at home sad, eating your salad, your mental health is getting affected. And it's all about this 80-20 where, look, I know full well, on Friday night, for example, I might have something a bit naughty for dinner. If I have something naughty for Thursday, then that's wiped out my Friday. And that's how I think. Is that 80% of the time, if I'm monitoring what I'm looking at, and I don't monitor it calorie by calorie, but I can do it by eat the rainbow, bit of green with everything, bit of, vegetables, fruit. Instead of that, I had a Mars bar yesterday. That was kind of in my 20s. So today I'm going to have a healthier snack.
Or I might go for a long walk or do a yoga session or something. It's about it's about, like I say, it's nourishment from all angles for the body. And we have so much pressure on us today. There's a lot of stress in the world, not just in what we do. And I just think you have to just do things that make you feel good, because when you feel good, you're telling your nervous system everything is okay. And what that does then is it calms everything. So when we are chronically stressed, so when we are running on our nerves constantly because we've got deadlines and we're pushing ourselves, we're not fueling our bodies, what that's doing is there's a cascade of things that happen in the body. So our heart rate quickens. So sometimes that can manifest as anxiety, and it can bring on us feeling a little bit more anxious. We might get headaches because we're a bit more dehydrated. We might get aches and pains because we're not circulating the blood well enough for nutrients to get to the joints. So we're feeling like, oh, I'm really achy. We're feeling absolutely on the floor, knackered, because we're not sleeping well. There's a real knock-on effect. So you have to look at it with a holistic view. It's the 360 approach. And that's something that I really want everyone to think about when it comes to health. It's not, and as a nutritionist, I'm not just talking about what to eat. It is really nourishment for everywhere in the body.
It isn't just about food. And we're now implementing various things in our office. We now have a wellness bar which has a variety of vitamin-fueled drinks and hydration sachets and snacks, but also going for walks. We have a lovely park outside our office. The walk and talk thing, I really love that, because it's such an opportunity to get that bit of fresh air, take a reset, whilst you're still discussing your meeting notes, having a wellness champion. Things like this it's just making us consider other aspects of it. And I think it's a brilliant way of, there will be people right now. We'll transition over to the challenges we face in our industry in a second, because I can feel people going, well, it's great.
Yeah, it's all good and well saying this. I haven't got time.
Yeah. I'm in a hotel room without a kitchenette. I'm on site. I'm doing the late shift. I'm doing,
Yeah.
So I think that's what's really great about when you and I have our talks, and when, you being in the industry, it's not just me sort of saying to you, well, I can't do that. Actually, it's about finding solutions of doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And finding little things that you can do to just make your day a bit better. So I know that when I go to hotels, not when I'm on holiday, only with work, for some reason, I do not sleep well that first night.
Yep, same.
And I'm not sure whether it's just now something that is almost like an automatic thing that happens. I do not travel lightly now. I probably didn't before, but
for different reasons.
Honestly have a huge bag anyway, because I never know what to wear. But I have a bag with my supplements, my nighttime stuff, so eye mask, pillow spray. I've even got like an natural oil diffuser that pumps out really nice lavender.
Really prep then.
Yeah, really prep. I mean, it's cost an absolute fortune. However, it's necessary.
Yeah.
And I even bought, which I've never really tried, but I bought a lock that you put on the door. I don't know why I'm so paranoid. It's a weird paranoia, but it's strange, isn't it? I never used to care, but I think my sleep is so important to me now.
Yeah.
And also maybe because I'm not getting blind drunk in the bar, that I need to wind down properly. When you drink, you go to bed and you just sort of pass out and wake up, and then you're on that treadmill and not in the gym. I mean the treadmill of just getting up and
exhaustion.
Exhaustion. And so now my routine is very much, if I go out for dinner, I might have a glass of wine, but then I'll go back to the room. I'll try. My Achilles heel for me is the phone. And we could have a whole session on scrolling.
We could,
dopamine, all of that. And maybe we can do in the future, and blue light and your circadian rhythm, which is your natural body clock. So you have to support that. And we do so much to almost go against that on a daily basis. And that's the thing. I'm really conscious of it. I'm sure that sometimes I think it's a bit of a curse. The more you know, the more that you feel that you need to do stuff properly. But I have in place now, when I go on site, all my bits and pieces to make sure that I give myself the best opportunity to have that good night's sleep. And if I don't, I don't. But at least I've done a lot of things to help me along the way.
Yeah, exactly that. And I mean, you're right. We could talk for an hour about doom scrolling, but I think there's enough podcasts out there to talk about doom scrolling. But what I have instilled in my life is, without being well, I've removed social media sort of person,
Oh, you're one of those.
but I'm going to say it. I have removed social media from my phone, and it's great. I'm
actually a bit jealous.
Yeah, it took some getting used to, but I went on Instagram one day. I was lying in bed for about an hour, and I closed the app, and I said, I've learnt nothing. That was completely, not wasted, because you laugh at things and you see what family are doing and friends. So it's not wasted time, but you go, do you know what? If I haven't learnt anything from what I've just seen, people aren't learning much from what I'm doing. So I'm gonna take it and put it on my laptop, because I do need social media.
It's a good idea.
And what we do need social media. I will never say it's a bad thing to have social media, because, like yourself, we're business owners.
Yeah.
We have to network and we have to promote what we're doing, and we also like to see what our clients are doing and keep up with the news. I'm a news, but I love the news, so I have all news apps on my phone. That doesn't give me much more pleasure at the moment as social media. But what I've done is I have the social medias on my laptop, so that if I want to have a little cheeky peek at lunch, I'll do that, because I'm not going to scroll on my laptop for an hour. On your phone, it's very easy to embed. I don't take my laptop to bed. That was my thinking. And I would say that I really don't care. It hasn't really affected me in a way of, I don't miss it. I enjoy it because it's there. It's the whole cold turkey thing we were talking about earlier, that it hasn't been ripped away from me, but I've taken back control.
It was your choice.
It was my choice.
Yeah.
And actually something I do now, which is, I would recommend it. It's a little bit more fiddly, is if I want to put something on social media, I download the app, I post it, and then I delete the app again.
Do you?
I do.
Wow.
Because I think I do want to post things out, and if I want to put like the odd holiday picture or adventure picture, even this podcast we're doing right now, I want people to know about it. But I put it on, remove the app, and then look at the likes on my laptop on my lunch break.
Yeah, it's like you say, it is an amazing window for people to see. And especially for my nutrition business, it is really vital that I do have an Instagram account, because I haven't even got a website yet. It is being built at the moment. People don't ask me about a website. I think obviously Instagram is current, isn't it? And I try and put things on there that are useful. But I struggle with it because I spend too much time looking at what other nutritional therapists are doing. And for me, I've recently started to think, well, that's time that I could be really building good content or using it more wisely, because what happens is you sort of come off it and then your brain has got so many ideas that you're actually paralyzed. So you don't do anything and then you've got no time. So it is a great thing to do. But I think for me, it's the one thing that I would say, and maybe it is because of my genetic makeup, with how I am with like dopamine in the body and all of that, possibly there is something in it that makes it very addictive.
Yeah.
And so that's the one thing that I feel that I need to be more mindful of, I would say, because I know I shouldn't be on my phone late at night.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's the other side of it, isn't it? It's the time of the day. And one thing I would say as well, it's quite nice if you're checking your phone constantly, for example, you're not getting much update. What's nice is if I don't look at it for 3 days, my friends are still sending me stuff. The company's updates I still like. So I can actually, in that half an hour, I get loads of updates, fresh things to see all at once. And I really like that. Because also we do have that added pressure of we don't want to be missing out. And this is why,
FOMO.
Yeah, exactly. And, social media, I actually agree that I think people use that over websites now. I think if you are meeting people and you're networking, I was in China recently working on an exhibition, and someone came up to me and said, and I didn't have any contact information for that person. And they said, can I have your Instagram? And I said, well, I don't have Instagram. And it blew their mind, and it was like, why don't you want my number or my LinkedIn or my email address or my website? I've spent a lot of time and effort on our website, but actually you're right. People go onto your Instagram post and they want to see what you're doing and this influencer style. What's Kylie having for breakfast? What's Kylie having for lunch? Oh,
the pressure is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
every meal.
Yeah. The thing that I really want to be and hope that I am is a real nutritionist. As long as I'm healthy from the inside out. And also I just want to relate to people. I want people to think, well, it's overwhelming. But if I can just do one of these things that Kylie said, that's all I ask for, is that somebody makes a small change, because I know the ripple effect of that. Because like I said before, the self-esteem of taking control actually has such a powerful effect. And that over everything, you know, that is the start to making sure that you are safeguarding yourself for the future and making some changes. And I absolutely love my job because I get such amazing feedback from clients. And I have a client at the moment, he's a long-standing client, and he came to me, he was about 23 stone. You know, he'd been to the doctor, he was pre-diabetic. Well, he was actually diabetic. He was 48 on the HbA1c, which is the marker for diabetes. And he has implemented everything to the dot. Like, he's recorded every single meal that he's had. For the last probably 11 months now, he's lost almost 6 stone.
Wow.
And he's reversed his diabetes. So he's now, his level is 34, I think it is, which is unbelievable. And he sent me a testimonial. He sent me an email and said, "You've literally changed my life," which is hard for me to hear, because it's like, wow, you've done that. And
These
he
are
said,
real
no,
people.
You've done this.
Yeah.
He said, because you were there checking my meals, you were giving me feedback. I mean, he was amazing. If everyone could be like him. He did say I'm a little bit OCD, so
Yeah.
But he's done so well. But he had the confidence to go for a job promotion. He got it, and he said, I just feel amazing now because I'm in control of what I'm doing. You know, and before I felt like I was just sleepwalking through life.
Health and well-being is not just about just losing weight. If
No.
you're saying, you know, he goes into a job interview and he feels different and he's walking differently, and that's something I've noticed is, I would say last year I was not necessarily looking after my health. I wasn't unhealthy, but I wasn't looking after my health in the same way that I do now. And you hit these lulls and you think, why am I starting to like doze at my desk?
Yeah.
And we hide it under age. We go, well, I'm not 21 anymore. When I was 21, I was into bodybuilding. I had a trainer. He controlled everything I ate and do you know what? I had very little body fat. At the time, I felt like an athlete almost. But you know what? I feel healthier now. I'm quite a bit heavier, but I feel healthier in myself. I have a mindset coach who is phenomenal for me. Juggling, you know, I'm juggling quite a lot of things that I don't think my 21-year-old self could have.
Yeah.
I know that was 11 years ago, but it's not just about having a fit body. It's the fit mind. It's the gut health, you know. And I think that's something we should talk about. Is I cannot believe what gut health can do for your body. And you know, I know you have helped some other people I know with their gut health, and you've given me tips for my gut health. And if my 21-year-old self saw my daily routine now, which I love, by the way, I went through a lot of I've tried fasting. I have enjoyed fasting. It's worked well for me in different ways. But now I get up and my daily routine starts with overnight oats with cinnamon, coconut flakes, chia seeds, flax seeds, and sunflower seeds.
I mean, wow. Model breakfast.
My 21-year-old self, who was eating 3 Nando's a day.
For breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. Just for breakfast.
Wow.
We're going, wow. And I think especially as testosterone fueled young men at that age, we all want to be big and muscly because that's what we're led to believe. We see programs on the TV. You know, social media wasn't what it is now, but we had the pressures of all those reality shows where every guy on there had shoulders out to here, and they would drink and eat all day, but they still looked phenomenal with very little, and that's what we want to look like.
Yeah.
And we're taught chicken, vegetables, rice, workout. Chicken, vegetables, rice, workout. And there's no thought about our minds and our guts and is that actually right for us? And I think that's something I've really learned from yourself, is actually that little sprinkle of chia seeds, what that can do for me on site. And that's what I do now on site is if I can't necessarily have the most healthy breakfast, just take a few little packets of those and, you know, add those into my meals.
Yeah. And that's a great mindset to have, because it is all about what you can add in. So it's not about taking things away. And to your point about weight, I really don't focus on weight. However, the thing I do know is that everybody wants to lose weight. And it is really a byproduct of making sure that you are being healthier. Like once you start to work on your health and you give your body what it needs. So your body it's a cheesy analogy, but it is like a car. So if you want it to go the distance, you need to do things like put fuel. That was a mixture of fuel and oil, by the way. Mm-hmm. Fuel in there, you need to put oil in there. You need to make sure that the structure of the car, which is almost like your musculoskeletal system, so your bones, that's all okay. You need to maintain it, and otherwise it won't work properly. So if you're not eating properly, if you're skipping breakfast and then you're like, oh, I'm just going to have a banana, and you're not adding anything into that day, that's where your body is lacking the nutrients that it needs. It needs to have amino acids every single day from protein. It needs to have a diverse range of vegetables, fruits for your gut microbiome to work properly and to make sure that it's well balanced. And it is about the balance. And I know that's another buzzword, all about balance, but it's very true because we just have to give the body what it needs, because it almost won't let you know that at the time, but over time you'll start to see the impacts of not giving it what it needs. And sometimes then it's just that little bit too late, or it's harder to pull it back.
I haven't really thought about my gut health till I was 30. It's never something I was spoken about. It was fruit, vegetables, eat those and sort of look after your body. But no one taught me about my gut health until, I know someone who's had some issues with their gut health, and actually we were looking at, is it muscle damage? Is it skeletal problems? Is it stress, anxiety, all these things? I mean, who knew gut health and stress were even in the same discussion point?
Oh, it's so related.
And what sort of things would our gut health affect really?
So there is a direct link between the gut and the brain. And to be honest, research on that has only been around for about 12 to 15 years. So even the gut microbiome itself, there were hardly any research papers and there was hardly any work done on it until probably that time. So it's very new, but it's great that everybody's talking about it. So there's a direct link between the brain and the gut. It's called the vagus nerve. And it's like a communication pathway. So it's almost like a highway where messages, neurotransmitters, they're going back and forth. So the brain is secretly talking to the gut and vice versa. Now, one of our hormones, which is called serotonin, is actually a neurotransmitter that is really important for how we feel. So we call it the happy hormone. And 60% of that is thought to be made in the gut. So we can get that directly. There's a precursor that we need to make serotonin, and that's called tryptophan. And that's found in things like turkey. It's found in things like porridge. B6 is another one as well that we need for brain health and for that signalling process. So by eating certain foods, we can really help with serotonin production. And when you don't have enough serotonin, that's when you start to feel really low, and mentally you start to struggle. So we then sometimes look at, we call them SSRIs, so antidepressants, and that basically keeps serotonin in the brain at a higher level. So it's really important to focus on what we're eating to make sure that mentally we are robust, and they go hand in hand. It is really, really important. And again, if you're lacking in energy because you haven't eaten anything, you're going to be moody and cranky, aren't you? Hangry.
Yeah, that's worst thing. I have bad hanger.
Yeah.
And
it's a horrible feeling because your blood sugars are low.
Yeah.
And it's such a quick fix. But the worst thing you can do is then go and have, and to be honest, even a banana can spike that blood sugar so high, you feel great, and then it just crashes again. So you're actually better off having a more balanced snack. So have some, I know not everyone can have nuts, but you could have some Brazil nuts with that banana, or you could have like a rice cake with it. I mean, it might be a bit dry, but there are definitely things you can pair to help with the blood sugar balance, which helps with your mood, helps with your energy. So yeah, it is all about what you add in and making sure that you're looking after your mental health by looking after the gut.
I was always bloated on site, and I put it down to my 10 a.m. hot chocolate, my 2 p.m. hot chocolate, maybe my midday Mars bar. I was like, well, I'm feeling bloated, but that's because I'm in this country and I'm eating a lot of bread. I'm eating a bit more oil.
We always blame bread, don't we?
We do. Bread and oil
Yeah.
and salt.
Yeah.
And we go, oh, there was so much salt in that food. Well, yeah, there probably was. But have you thought about how to maybe adjust that slightly by, it's okay to have some salty food, but you know what? Afterwards, don't have a Mars bar. Have a, you've got me hooked on these Nutri-Teas, these healthy teas.
Yeah.
I don't do tea or coffee. I'll be honest, there was no health reason behind that. I just never had it. Never interested me. And I tried this tea that you recommended, which was artichoke and dandelion root, which again, I would never have looked at that.
Sounds disgusting, doesn't it? Really,
it does. But do you know what? It's absolutely delicious, and just water, no milk or anything like that, and you can refill it a few times, and that fills me up. Ginger, I love ginger tea because it fills my hunger, and then I don't have my packet of crisps. I mean, I work in venues all over the world, and I could tell you exactly where the vending machine is. I know how much my snacks are going to be. And I have a routine now, and this is the exciting life of on-site. The morning of show open, when I'm in Spain, there's a vending machine that does the best hot chocolate in the world.
Really?
And it's only a little thing, and I say, that is my treat. That is my wake up in the morning, show's open, Kane, you're allowed an absolute sugar bomb of a hot chocolate.
That gets you going.
That gets me going, and that's my 20, But yeah, and I suppose that's probably leads on to like the mindset behind it, making us think. The challenges on site, like I mentioned with the oats and the mug. I mean, this is for everyone. This podcast is for everyone. But you and I have a very specific experience in the exhibition industry, and what we're trying to do is also give some tips and tricks for being on site. And I think that was one thing you mentioned about the teas is a great thing. I mean, the snacks on site, for example. What should we be thinking about? If we're taking things on site, teas for me have really worked.
Yeah.
But there are people that will want edible, something a bit more
substantial.
Yeah.
I think, so it is all about preparing. So preparation is absolutely key when it comes to taking control of your health and just looking after yourself. Because when it comes to that decision-making process, when you're at that stage where someone says, do you want a bacon sandwich? I mean, I'm not demonising them. I love a bacon sandwich. But if you have made your oats already and you've got them. So I bang on all the time about these Kilner jars. And to be honest, anyone that works with me, I just send them one because it's such a great thing to have in your toolkit. And I worked with the Ops Nest and I did a little, it was a good few years ago, I did a little seminar with them. And it was all about what's in your jam jar. So it was like, take your jam jar or your Kilner jar on site and either fill it with fruit from the hotel, with some other things like granola, or if you've brought your own stuff. So the best thing is to bring your own. So if you're used to, at home, making the overnight oats, just bring the same things with you. It's a bit of a faff, but it's great to be prepared, and you get into a routine and you feel so good for doing it. So chia seeds are brilliant because they're really high in protein and fats. So that's a great thing to have. Really filling as well because they basically puff up when you put liquid in them. So even if you put them into a yogurt, I don't know what the right word is, but they just grow.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're great. And why are they great? Because they also contain fibre, and they help with the whole digestive tract, the movement through the digestive tract. They're like a road sweeper. So they scoop up, same with porridge oats. They really help scoop everything up, and you can eliminate properly. You know what I mean by eliminate.
Yes. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's really key to our health because we're getting rid of waste, we're getting rid of toxins, they're not staying in the body, they're not recirculating, hormones are going as well. So that helps with any hormonal balance, female and male. We need to be mindful of when we are moving through our years and we go into, say, our 40s, it's not just women that experience hormonal change, it's men as well. Testosterone drops. There is an actual stage of life called andropause that I don't think many men even know.
I've never heard of that.
And they start to feel, that's again another topic that we could go into, but they start to feel like crap. And they're in their 40s, they've got low self-esteem because their energy's on the floor. They are just feeling a bit insecure, a bit wobbly, but, just need to get on with it because that's just life. And I suppose that's why some people do the old midlife crisis thing, you know, because they're trying to make themselves feel better, men and women. But there is that to be mindful of as well. So by being prepared and managing your energy, managing your mood, just bring that Kilner jar with you. I mean, I've got absolutely no shame of going into a hotel breakfast bar. So I sit down, I have my eggs, and I do ask for an omelette because I think it's a great way to get a good amount of eggs in. And generally the chef will make it fresh for you. So that's quite nice. And you can add in mushrooms, peppers, spinach, a little bit of cheese if you can eat dairy. And that's really filling. So I then go on site. I've got my Kilner jar with whatever, maybe my overnight oats, because then that's like a snack, because you do burn a lot more calories. So you can have that little bit more when you're on site. So I was at the NEC recently and I was staying over at Resorts World. They do a fantastic breakfast. They have smoked salmon and everything. So I was in my element. They have avocado, smoked salmon, eggs. So that was great. And then I was taking my fruit and my granola in for that sort of 11 o'clock time when you feel a bit hungry, but you still need to keep your hunger levels and your blood sugar levels managed. So I'd have that. Honestly, you just feel like you're really in control. It's great. But, you know, you still get abuse. You still like, what's that you're eating? Oh, what's all those seeds and everything you're eating, like rabbit food? And
but I also feel that's curiosity as well.
Yeah,
and
I think
by the time that we'd finished our session in our office, the staff, I know a couple of them had bought these jars before you finished speaking because it sounds such a great idea. It's so simple, and you say it's a faff, but it's probably a faff for the first few times you do it.
Yeah,
I mean the jars, they're about this big, and very easy to take with you. And I think there's less and less stigma around, these things appearing in the office.
I think so now.
I think there's. We worked on a show recently where we had some supplements and protein available to our staff. We put it on our desk in the organiser's office, and it's for those that are intrigued by it or just want that little boost. People that understand their bodies a bit more. And it got so many side eyes of like, what are they doing over there? Look, they've got vitamin C supplements and vitamin D, iron and magnesium and protein. What's this whey protein stuff? And it's health and safety for a reason, and what we're taking our eyes off is the health aspect of it.
Yeah.
And we say it's a bit of faff, but we would do it at home. You could spend 10 minutes making your breakfast at home, but because you're on site, you feel the need that you need something quick. You go down to the breakfast room, and I'm very guilty of eating as if I didn't know when my next meal was. Because it's there, you can see it.
Yeah,
there is.
It's an abundance, isn't it?
It is, and it can be absolute gluttonous sometimes because you go, oh right, well, at home I'd have a little Kilner jar of food, but today I'm going to start with a bowl of cereal and some toast, load of honey on it. My routine goes completely, flips the other way when I go on site because I had to change my mindset completely as to I would have like a healthy breakfast at home. I would get the taxi to the airport. And for some reason, I walk through those airport doors and go, well, I need a full English breakfast.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, it's just a thing you do. And you go to your hotel room and you go, right, well, I'm a bit peckish. What's that menu? Well, I'll have a pizza.
Club sandwich.
And chips, everything with chips.
Yeah.
And then you go out in the evening and you have a 2-course meal, 3 if you're lucky, 2-course meal, and then a couple of drinks. And that becomes the routine. Is that the next day you wake up and you go, right, let's have a look at this breakfast bar. I've had 4 meals before 9 a.m. And you go, but I had to learn why was I doing that? And inside the human anatomy is the caveman approach of I don't know when my next meal is. But we do, and I think it's the preparation.
I almost feel like I have a little bit of anxiety around if I don't have food with me.
Yeah.
And that's just the way I am, really. I think some people can go through a whole day and not worry about food. And I do think, is that something wrong with me? Interestingly, as you know, I've done my genetic testing.
Yep.
I do have predispositions that mean that I will have more of an appetite. I'm likely to have more of an appetite. When I look at my dad, I can totally see where I get it from. My nephew, he's the same. He's 10, and he's got a huge appetite. Like my gran used to say, she'd eat the table if she wasn't careful. I mean, great, really good for the old self-esteem.
Yeah.
But it's true, like some of us need to eat, but actually all of us need to eat.
Yeah.
And the whole preparation thing. So if I know that I've got meetings and I'm driving, say, for 2 hours, so I have my breakfast and I've got a meeting, I will make sure that in the car I've got some healthy bars. And it's so difficult now when you look in the supermarket at breakfast bars. I'm going to try not to name any brands.
Yep.
But when you look at different things on the shelf, it's so confusing.
Yeah, it's overwhelming, isn't it?
It is. And there are certain raw bars that you can buy. I'm sure I can say which ones, can't I?
I don't think they're going to send you any.
No.
No.
I'm not an influencer yet.
Yeah,
so
of course.
The naked bars are
Yep.
brilliant because they are, I mean, again, if you can't have nuts, not great. But they are raw.
Side note, I can't have nuts.
Yeah,
I'm allergic.
Yeah, so I'm basically telling you loads of stuff
Yeah.
you can't have.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that are much better. Or if you really want to be prepared, make your own protein energy balls. They're
Okay.
amazing. They're so quick and easy to make at home. Or boil some eggs and eat the eggs with some spinach. I do that. In the car, like I've got a little stainless steel Tupperware box thing, and it keeps things really cold. So I'll boil some eggs the night before and peel them. I mean, it stinks. However, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's protein and it's really healthy fats. But I have spinach or rocket with it because they help absorb fats better in the body.
Okay.
So it's having these little tips that just small things that you do that you pair your foods with that make it more nutritious, more of a nutritious snack or meal, and that's the thing. And that's what I want to really think about, how I can empower people in the industry to have their own little toolkit where they're like, right, well, I know I can do that and I know I can do this. And it's about thinking ahead, whether you're on site for 2 weeks or whether you are at home with lots of Zoom meetings. That's another thing. Sometimes you're back to back. You can't even get away from your desk.
Yeah.
So how do you prep for that day? Have you got a big 2-litre bottle of water on your desk to keep hydrated? Do you have snacks there? Have you got a time for lunch? Don't make those meetings. Give yourself time. Well, make the meetings, but plan your day better so you are a priority. You need to have a lunch break and preferably go outside, get some fresh air.